Okay. Itomics Kanatoni. Good morning. It is about 10 minutes to 10 o'clock in the AM on Friday, July 10th, 2020, in the lunar cycle Misamsota, the long rains. And I'm just getting on the road this morning for the first time really in a couple of weeks. Not that I haven't been on the road at all, but this morning I'm feeling all right. My eye is of course still very mucked up. I went to Medicine Hat to see the ophthalmologist again yesterday for the third time. He's got me on a pretty heavy regimen of antibiotic drip every hour, and then I have to go back again and see him on Tuesday. He was surprised this time, said my eye was not as healed as he would have liked to see it already, and he really took a lot of time yesterday looking through my eye. Made for a very uncomfortable trip home, even though I didn't drive myself, thankfully. But yeah, he really kind of mucked up my eye yesterday, looking through it. I think trying to find some kind of source, because I heard him mumble something to himself too about how it could be a viral infection or something. I don't think he totally understands, what is the causation, but he's treating the symptoms, and the treatment is working, though pretty slowly. I think I'm going to be one-eyed for a while. I'm definitely not going to have contact lenses back in that eye for months. So I figure I got to slowly start getting my my one-eyed driving technique down. So this morning, before there's too much going on, I thought I'd run, check one of my traps, maybe set another one or two. I've got a lot of clients. I've been having 3, 4, 5 clients calling every morning wanting to set up traps, and for the most part I've just been backlogging calls, like taking messages and that kind of thing. But it's getting to be a lot, and I really need to get my business back on the go here. So that's what I'm up to this morning. Still not going to be doing steaks for a bit, maybe next week. Right now Dave Henley from the city is running them, so if you've called in snakes for your backyard in the canyons in the last week and been disappointed that I wasn't there, that's why. I got a bad eye infection. This is the first house that we'll check. This is the one with the raccoons that I'm trying to catch. I did catch a skunk here a few days back, and that was one of the occasions where I felt compelled to get out and drive myself over, because it's so close to my house. I didn't want to call one of my... I've got friends on the west side of town and on the south side of town who were willing to do some of the trapping work with me, but they would collect my fees instead of me. All right, there's nobody in the trap this morning. You can see that there was somebody in there previously, and it looks like somebody dug in from the side and took the bait. So we're gonna move this trap over, reset it on the more firm ground here, get some new bait in there. Maybe we can convince a raccoon to come. We'll see. I don't have any calls for pickups right yet this morning, and I don't know if I'll have any, but I do have calls for new traps. So my goal this morning, collect some old traps, set some new traps, maybe stop by Spokane, but after going to Mahoney's and mowing her lawn, 'cause it's been 2 weeks now. That lawn's going to be getting big. I want to go take care of it, and yeah, just try to have a little bit of a normal beginning to my day. I'm sure at some point I'm going to feel too overwhelmed and want to go home and just chill out and let my eye rest. But for now, getting some stuff rolling. Yeah, so I just picked up a couple of my traps from Steve Frank, who was assisting me a bit while I was out of commission. And I'm here at Mahoney's place. I was gonna get going on the lawn mowing, but got an emergency kind of call from Chelsea. They have another toilet issue going on, and she would love if I would come home quick and see if I can auger the issue out. Something again with Reed and the toilet. Who knows what was put down there this time. But yeah, I'm gonna go take care of that and then come back here. Wonder what this, they got this red mark on this elm. I hope that doesn't mean that there are any plans to take down this elm. I hope it's just like, hey, stop here and do a little trim, give it a little haircut. Anyhow, we'll go check out what the toilet problem is. Hey, Polio. Yeah. Polio. All right. What's the situation?
Just old paper. I think you like all a roll. Or you go down. Yeah, Chloe, you don't want to go in there.
Oh, we're gonna need the mop after.
Yeah, figured.
Let me go try to find that auger.
Okay. This toilet does not get a break.
Nope.
Kids, toddler life. I should say preschool. Yeah.
Back on shelf more than anything else.
You did. You got yourself good. Trying to fix the toilet. And my brother broke it. Not broke it, but fixed it.
What wasn't it?
I don't know. Hope we're trying to get it to drain though. Ah! Yay! I hope.
Yeah, that's a good sign.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would see if it'll.
Oh, you got yourself really good.
Yeah, a little bit.
You did. Look at that.
Were you?
Nothing like working a toilet and opening some wounds with an infected eye and all.
What happened? How
Look at
did
the blood dripping.
Can I see? What happened to your finger?
I slammed it down on the pole.
Clipped him good. Clipped your finger.
Can I see?
Yeah, I'm gonna need a nurse.
Yeah, I'll fix you when you're done.
Oh, that's sweet.
Rank, eh?
Okay, that's.
Got some pretty good band-aids. Might need more than a band-aid with that one.
Fix it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Little bit of medicated glue, good as new.
I'm going bump into you.
You might want to take it with you, reseal it.
Do we have any cheese?
What kind of cheese?
Just touching base out here at Spopikimi. I haven't been able to visit much over the past couple weeks as I've been dealing with this eye injury. I did come out for my walk and talks with Carol, but it was a struggle. Today feels a bit better, although after mowing and weeding and, you know, several hours out here in the sunlight, it does feel like probably time I should take my eye home and give it a little bit of rest. This was just a first kind of foray this morning to see whether I can be out and about, and it feels pretty comfortable right now. It doesn't feel like, I mean, it's not a functioning eye. Look at this. It's in bad shape. It's still in bad shape, but I'm not getting the severe sharp pains in the eyeball that I have been getting. I'm not getting any of the even the soreness kind of around the eye. Not feeling a lot of that. No headache today. It's very bright right now, so I'm a little bit light sensitive right now, but for the most part it hasn't felt nearly as light sensitive as it was you know, for the past couple of weeks. So I think it's kind of starting to settle down, although I believe it's still going to take a while before I'm back to at least not having the infection, and then probably a good while before I'm back to full vision in that eye, able to wear a contact lens or something, you know. I got to get online and order some glasses. I did when we got back from Costa Rica, but I think the company I ordered through ripped me off because I never got them. The running theory among my support at City Hall, I think, is that I have accidentally envenomated this eye, which is not out of the realm of possibility at all, because I certainly documented holding rattlesnake venom in my palm 24 hours before having this episode, you know, occur. So it's not impossible at all that it's rattlesnake venom. Did do a little bit of online search to see what it might look like, or what happens when you get rattlesnake venom in your eye, and there's really so few, at least documented cases online. There was only one real paper on it that I saw, and it was very short and only covered one case. And yeah, there was irritation in the eye, and they caught it immediately and flushed it immediately, like 15 minutes of flushing in water, and it wasn't an issue. But that's for rattlesnakes. Now, for some snakes in the world, like in Asia, they have cobras that actually spit, and so it's not unusual for somebody to get venom in the eye. And in those cases, the result of that envenomation looks a lot like what I'm suffering. Looks like cornea ulcer, looks like, you know, swollen, infected, injured eye. So I'm not putting it out of the realm of possibility that that's what happened. I'm betting if I called the Kentucky Reptile Zoo, those guys there have accidentally got rattlesnake venom in their eyes now and then. I'm sure they could probably tell me what it's like, but maybe I'm already experiencing. I don't know. I don't mind that story. If the ophthalmologist doesn't give me a better one, which he hasn't so far. So maybe I did accidentally introduce some venom into my eye. Who knows? It's not out of the realm of possibility at all, and it would be a kind of a good explanation for why the sudden and very strong eye injury / infection thing going on, you know. Anyway, looks like the goose family is up here below the bench, or at least part of them. Oh yeah, there's some back there by the peninsula too, the whole extended family. You probably can't see them very well on this camera, but goslings are growing. And I'm going to just continue my round here. I have this little pocket of knapweed that I'm hopeful for the survival of out here, kind of by the high level bridge. This is one of the plants on the hit list by the agricultural industry, and picked up as a villain by naturalists as well. So bizarre. I'm more interested in how it's fitting in out here, because this place definitely is not overwhelmed by this so-called invasive species. But really, that's just a side rant. Really what I'm out here for, what I'm interested in checking out, are these guys here. Yeah, baby. This is some just ripening Saskatoon berries. That's what I was hoping for. So I'm gonna harvest a bit here, pluck some berries. I just got like a bandana to kind of throw them in, but I think from here on out through the season, as long as I can, should try to get some berries every day. That's the goal. And I got 3 little kiddos that could be helping me some of those days. We'll see how that goes. Maybe even tomorrow. But for this afternoon, I'm gonna harvest just a little bit here before I continue my walk. Just in the forest main here, kind of inspecting my little haul. Not too many berries, just the start. This one's no good. There's probably a few of them in here that are not really good. Yeah, not too many. Maybe about as many as you get in a little blueberry square for $4 at a grocery produce section, you know. But if I pick them every day, we'll end up with an inventory of berries for the winter. But you got to do a little bit every day. At least that's what I've found, or as often as possible in the season while they're there, you know. I want to get currants, Saskatoons especially, but also chokecherry,
Put these in my pocket here. Good thing to have cargo pockets. Shady enough here in the forest I can go without my glasses. It was getting very bright there as I was picking. I probably would have picked a little bit longer, but the sun chased me away. I am curious to find out whether the bergamot is in bloom over here or not. So we'll take a stroll out that way and check out what is the progress of this year's bergamot. This is not it, is it? No, that's the tall goldenrod for this year. So, oh, the tall goldenrod's already got its galls. So if I was to chop this open right now, I would find a little worm in there, a little larva of the fly that lays its egg on the tall goldenrod, and that creates those galls. That little larva is going to eat in there for a bit, not too long. Maybe by next month or so, drop out, go into the ground, pupate, become an adult, you know, what have you. The cycles continue. But yeah, those galls, they're interesting. I seen them on kind of like bandoliers and painted with sun, which ochre, which usually only paint something if it's ceremonially involved. And I think they might have had some connection with, those bandoliers might have had some connection with one of the societies before. I can't remember if it was the Braves or the Doves. But one of the age grade sacred societies with fairly younger members, young adult members. And who knows, I kind of imagine they might have been the beads that were used and replaced by big fat glass trade beads, you know, at the turn of the century, for the bracelets for people like beaver bundle keepers and thunder pipe keepers and stuff like that in the past. Because try to imagine what that bead would have been before, you know, before there was glass trade beads. And so you're looking for something that's, you know, kind of a fat round bead to serve as a bracelet to mark, you know, stars on your wrist, basically. Berries, in the case of the beaver bundle. This might be Manikapi here. This is what I'm talking about. Yes, there we go. The first of the flowering bergamot. I suspected I would find this in bloom. Whoops. My depth perception is way screwed up, you know, without the one eye, and so I'm bumping into things that I think are further away from me and that kind of thing. Yeah, bergamot. Although this is just one, there should be a whole field of it here. So this is just probably an early bloomer, but it's on the way. And I was wondering if there would be any bloomers at all. So there we go. We'll see. Here's another plant with a bloom that's on its way. Yeah, there should be a whole bunch of them out here in bloom pretty soon. It's getting sunny again. Back to the shades. Scanning as well as I can with my one eye for the potential presence of a great horned owl. because some things are of benefit when you're looking down a lot, including signs. Check this out. Look at all of this whitewash on the leaves around here, on all of this wild licorice and leafy spurge. Lots and lots of whitewash on the ground. And then, you know, over this way, what do we got? We got crunched up little bone fragments and fur from what was no doubt once an owl pellet, and recent enough that it was post fire, so this season's owl pellet. So there may be an owl in the forest main that uses this tree as a roost. Well, there is an owl, I will say that, or there has been. Where it is at present, and my potential for finding him one-eyed and all of that, it's another question. I was actually headed this way because I need to look at a plant. Where would it be? Oh, over this way. Last year, I noticed something flowering around the base of this Russian olive tree, and it was something unfamiliar to me, a plant that I didn't know. I think I took a picture of it last year. I never identified it. I want to revisit it. I don't want to let go of the fact that there is a presence here that I don't even know. I know nothing about. It's in bloom here right now, hey? It's these yellow flowers. So I have a plant ID app on my phone. I'm going to give that a shot here. But either way, at least get a photograph of these in bloom so I can try to sort out what they are. So my Plant Snap app did not come up with any hits that I would consider direct, dead on, that's the species. Did, however, give me a loose identity of genus, at least, and that is this plant is some kind of loose strife. It's called a loose strife. So my loose pun was old man intended. But yeah, that's the loose identity that we have at this point, is that it's a loose strife of some kind. And their big claim to fame, I guess ecologically, is that they offer pollinators oils instead of nectars. So I don't know what that really means in terms of, you know, how the pollinators benefit from the oils versus the nectars, but it's another little factoid thing that I'd come across as I tried to figure out an identity there real quick, and something to note for later. I'll have to figure out what actual species that is, and then kind of pay attention to it and see how it's fitting into the ecosystem, and of course maybe do some more review of things online. The more you read, the more of those little tidbits, those little gems you can pick up, save yourself the study, the time in the field. Not that you don't want to spend the time in the field, but spending on the stuff others haven't already got, you know? That kind of thing. Yeah, I'll have to look into that plant. Just about to the end of the pond here, just about back to the north side, and I'm ready to go home, so it's all right. Look at this wee little survivor here. Just a baby turtle. Figured I'd better come take stock of what's going on in the red-winged blackbird nest. There's a couple of mature turtles out on the log there, pretty much concealed. Well, those ones dodged, but there's still those ones at that end. Yeah, pretty much concealed from public eye by some of these reeds. Oh yeah, that's something I wanted to experiment with. Drying and hollowing out a bulrush stem to use as a straw. Because I know that there are some grasses being used in Asia as straws in replacement for those plastic drinking straws. Let's see, where's our nest? Oh, it's pretty far out there, actually. I thought we had a nest that was very close here that I could lean out to and peek into, but maybe they've taken it down. There's one out there, hey? A little bit further out. I bet they deconstructed. I bet they collapsed this nest that was over here. Either that or somebody collapsed it for them. I don't know. But I figured I'd check in before taking off from the pond. There was also a nest out this way. Might be too far for me to see with my gimpy eyes. Water has risen too. That might be a factor. Guess I'll go see what's going on at the home front. Oh, there's still nest making. I just seen a female come in over here with some nest building material. So they're a little bit behind. I bet this higher water kind of mucked up their game. There we have a decent sized adult turtle. A couple of them. Still looking for water bug eggs. I really need to come out here with my waders and just spend a day wading the perimeter. And that would be a good video, I think, in itself. Show all kinds of stuff in the water. Yeah, I was just about home and I pulled in here at the Alexander Wilderness Park thinking I would just go down the road and back up, you know, just make a pass because I enjoy the drive on my way home. And it turns out the barricade is still up, as it was last weekend when I took my kind of long hike down here and noted that there was some erosion damage and that kind of thing. But I'm a little surprised to see the barricade still up today, because it has been, you know, a full work week and the road wasn't decimated or anything. It looks, however, like it's been graded and repaired. So I'm going to take a little walk down I'm mostly interested in what is the current state of the currents. Remember, we checked in last weekend. They were looking pretty good along this road here. The red and golden currents, black currents. So figure I'll stop in. If there's some decent berries, maybe I'll do a little bit of harvesting of these too. Looking at what we have here, you know, yeah, that one even didn't pull off readily enough. Too tart. How about this? Almost there. Almost there. We'll look at some of the ones that are more exposed to the sun over here. Maybe they'll be better representatives of ripe berries. But it's time. The next lunar cycle that we go into is when the Saskatoons ripen. And we're almost into that technically, but we are really into that ecologically. It's happening. The berries are starting to come. And I'm hungry for them. This is an interesting plant because it's like golden currant and with some kind of a red currant intrusion. You know, I do think they're all pretty much the same species. Because they all grow right together. They flower the same, they leaf the same. It's just the berry that's different. We got black, golden, and red. They're close. So, you know, some of them, there's some here and there that are just on the cusp of ripe. Yes, I don't know if they're waiting for this to dry completely or what it is, why they don't have the road open today. Look at how many berries we're going to have here. When this thing comes to term, it's going to be ridiculous. And this is all just roadside berries to be had. In fact, very tempted to see. This is what they should look like. Well, this is kind of a oh, that's more of a red one, but oh, that red one was good. Guess back home, my Uncle Don, my dad's brother, sometime last week went for a run, and at the end of his run, he stopped at these berry bushes. He was eating a lot of berries. I don't know if they're blackberries. I think blackberries are a little later in the summer. Maybe cherries right now that he was eating. Any case, because he was exhausted from the run or whatever, he ended up inhaling some of the berries or some of the berry pits, and it had to be brought to ER and have them vacuumed out of his lungs. I laugh because you know, he survived the ordeal. It would be different if he didn't survive the ordeal, but he survived it. So I can laugh in that respect, and also because I can totally see myself, you know, falling to such a ridiculous end someday. You know, what element of nature is going to get me? Or am I going to allow myself to get myself, you know? I'm obviously pretty injury prone, given my condition recently, all around. Oh, these are perfect. These are perfect. The ones that are ripe, anyway. Mm. 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 All right, just gonna scope down the road a little bit, see if I can figure out any good reason for the road still being closed, just out of curiosity, and then I'll probably graze my way back up and go home. With berries this good, I'm just putting it out there. With berry patches this good all along the avenue here, why not keep the road closed for the next month? Just keep the parking lot at the top open and require that people walk down and graze these berries. Just a thought. Just a thought. Because, you know, it gets dangerous out here picking off the roadside when there is traffic coming through. Potentially dangerous, and definitely a lot more dusty and uncomfortable than the current conditions. So if it was up to me, if I was the planner here, I would encourage berry harvest for the next month along this road and nix traffic. I'm looking at the parking area down here, and it seems that it's just, you know, it's all been worked all the way up, okay, all the way up and down. So there really isn't a reason, I don't think, not to have through traffic on the road here today, except for the berries. And I think the berries are actually a pretty good reason. Although I don't think that's why anybody has that barricade closed up there, you know. But yeah, it would be nice to just have access, to just be able to graze up and down this road once a day for the next month or so. Not worry much about people trying to squeeze by with you there on the road. I mean, I suppose you get off over the barrier, go on the other side of the bush, you know, be off of the road, and I'll probably do some of that for sure, but it'd be a lot cooler if it was closed. But the top parking lot has to be open. It's not right now. This is kind of new. The sunflowers in bloom here. Nice bunch of wild sunflowers. Those will be seeds for birds come winter. They're not much, the wild sunflower is not much, you know, for eating if you want to try it yourself. I pick at the end of the season a lot of flower heads one year, just kind of let them dry out like we used to when we garden them. When I growing up in Oregon, you know, we garden lots of big sunflowers and have, you know, real sunflower seeds equivalent to what you buy in the store. But it was hard work, you know, to scrape those out of the heads, and best to kind of let the head just dry by itself, and then let the seeds fall out of the head, or let those seed pods. But then with these wild ones, you know, the the difference between the actual like pulp of the seed and the shell of the seed is very small. It seems like it's mostly all shell that you're eating if you're eating these wild ones. The birds can get at it though. They can separate those shells and find that little nugget of goodness. Yeah, I get excited for the berry season, actually. A lot of good memories with berries, all the way from childhood on up. And it was a big part of my training with the beaver bundle. I remember Alan coaching us, you know, try to pick not just for yourself. Well, first of all, pick your own berries. It's part of the process of being engaged with the world out here. It's practicing Tsimskatsin and reciprocating to the world is when you see that beacon of light in the dangling colorful fruit saying, come and take me, come and harvest. You know, make sure you take part in the harvest to be human. And then, you know, when we were hosting ceremonies, of course we needed to serve berries. It's one of the Saskatoons especially is one of the foods known to give long life. It has songs that say as much. And we were always coached to make sure and harvest our berries. Don't rely on the Hutterites or a berry farm or something like that. Get out here and do your harvest, because that's part of it. Hey, like I say, that's part of your engagement with these other life. And then on top of that, try to harvest more than your personal needs. Harvest some berries for others too. Hey, so those are good lessons. But yeah, I get all excited when it comes to berry season for the potential. I never get to totally engage, or I never make the time to totally engage with the harvest as I should, but I always get some in there. Hey, Polio. Mr. Pope.
Quiet.
Kid's gone.
Too quiet.
Look in there. Look what I brought home. Ruby Tears beer.
Ooh.
Those are currants.
You found some currants.
Yeah, saksi paksini simani.
I'm not even gonna try that word.
Oh, konoki. Mr. Poe.
Oh, they're good.
They're really good.
They're good.
I know, the season's starting.
We gotta go. No, I don't have to work this weekend.
As soon as you got a day off, I'm gonna go tomorrow though.
I know.
I'm gonna pick berries.
I got a cough. I'm good.